Welcome back, everybody. Quick video, peek around the kitchen. We're kind of using it as a kitchen now, so excuse the mess. Didn't make a ton of progress this week. There's been a couple of different snow days, one that the kids had off of school and one that they did not, but regardless, it was slow for me to get around and do some work. So I have not really started working in the family room yet. I chose to instead try to knock off some of the small low-hanging fruit out of the kitchen. A couple of things that I did is these shelves had some like temporary mounts underneath them. Took all those out and got them mounted correctly. I don't know if you can see, but they're just tiny little, they were screws up here. I think you can see them. Screw head there, screw head over here somewhere. But we painted those all out with some color match paint marker things, and it actually makes them disappear very nicely. It's tough to see, especially once we get glass in there. That's gonna be, it'll just disappear. So it's kept pretty cool. Still waiting on the glass. That'll be probably another 3 weeks out or so. Hopefully that'll happen around the same time that the millwork comes back in and we can finish this sucker out. Everything else is working pretty good, except for the kids still don't clean up after themselves. So that's what I'll spend my morning doing. Still gotta level this. Just haven't brought the channel locks out to grab those feet and level them out. Nothing major happening over here. Still maybe today, although the weather's again not awesome. Might go and get the canopies to hang those pendants today. The clock is a no-go. We thought it might work. We want a big clock in here somewhere, but it's a near miss, especially the gold hands there we don't love. But this is what I spent most of my time doing this weekend, or the past few days. So this is old flooring mostly. A couple of the boards, the nicest, widest stuff was from the pantry that used to sit around about here. And we just kind of flipped them upside down, used the rough sawn edge. And initially they were kind of grayed out, as you can imagine, being under floorboards for such a long time. And we wanted them to really match kind of the color of the doors, somewhere in between this dark and this kind of reddish color. And we got more of the red, hoping that they'll just darken over time and by getting kicked and messed up. But we tried it. I did a number of experiments with, what did I use? A pre-stained conditioner. That was one thing that I used. And it was pretty good, but it left it a little gray and very oily to the touch. It's essentially a stain with no pigment, I think, is what that preconditioner is. So it didn't actually dry. It eventually probably would have, but it would have been picking up dust along the way and getting even more kind of gray color and less rich, like it turned out. I also tried what do they call ultra flat or ultra matte poly. And although it claimed to be ultra matte, a lot of this grain is super hard, being heart pine, especially the red stuff. And that got shiny, even though it was a matte finish. And there's no shine to what we ended up using, which was just a sealer. It's the same sealer that they put on first coat for the floors. It dried, soaked it right in, dried actually dry, and really turned out great. So this is exactly what we went with. I also tried combinations of the two. I don't know if I showed that last time, but peek through. I had a variety of different test boards that I ran, and this is what we came up with, and it really turned out great. It's not shiny. It's got the look of those doors. In fact, I think I'm probably gonna do this on each of these doors. I'll use the same Katie appearance. Hey, Katie. We'll use the same sealer on the doors just for a little protection, and now I can trust that it's not going to turn them shiny or alter the color in a significant way. It'll just be maybe a little more rich, a little more alive than what we've got. currently. And yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. I think it turned out really good. If you look down the seam here, nice and straight, really tight. I scribed the bottom so it's hugging an uneven floor here. There's couple areas over here that look like they're not very well done, but actually they are flat. It's just the thickness of the boards. There's a little unevenness with the thickness, and there's, diminishing returns. I decided not to plane them down. I didn't want to run them through the mechanical planer in the shop because it'll mess up the grain. This would be on the rollers, and it'd be marks, and it wouldn't look good. I tested that out as well, and it didn't look good. I was not happy with it. There was one board that I did plane down because it was it was almost a 1/4 inch thicker. It's this little one over here. But I had to do that by hand, which was an hour's worth of work, and I wasn't going to do it with every one of these. So anyway, that turned out really nice. Molding's back in over here. The light is doing funny things on the camera. Sorry about that. And over here turned out really nice. Food on the floor again. Yeah, so I'm super pleased with how that looks, and kind of view from our little seating area. We finally started kind of putting this together. These chairs are very good for right now. I'm not sure if we're going to keep these forever. But they're doing the job. And kind of this is the view I wanted to have. I wanted to be able to kind of peek under there while we're sitting here and have it be a subtle, nod to the old place, along with the door to my right. And if I spin all the way around, the window, of course, behind me, the stove here. So we've got some repetition of the colors and elements and the age of really the heart and soul of the old house. So I'm pretty pleased about that. Made some progress getting a lot of this junk out as well. Not junk, it's books and things. So this weekend, the goal is to have this room completely cleared so that we can bring a table in and start using the dining room. Yes, it will not be finished for a while, but it would be a nice thing to have another place to kind of sit. We, after dinner time, we try to hang out in here for a little while, but then it's not terribly comfortable yet. Really, we'd like to be in a family room or living room. So we all end up in our beds. We're getting good sleep. But yeah, dining room table in here while I am finishing this place out. And then we can furnish in there and start really living a little more comfortably and less out of boxes and things. So this will all disappear, and then I'll get going in here. I've prepped a lot of my tools and more to do. But I got spackle and paint and drop cloths and tape and all the things that are going to help me kind of go through and prep all of this. The biggest job in here, I don't know, it's kind of a tie between all the touch-ups of the plaster around every one of these boxes, basically, and all the putty and sanding that will be required for all of the trim all the way around. And there are 10 trimmed openings in this room alone, plus baseboard, and these little threshold sills of the big doors. So there's a lot to do in here. It'll take me at least a week, I think, really 2. So hopefully the general rule of doubling and adding a unit, if I think it's going to take a week, it'll take 2 months. Hopefully that does not hold true here. I'd like to be in here before then. But a lot of cleanup as well to do. Just this edge is not as nice as it really should have been, so I think I can touch that up a bit. And, the paint, that's not paint, that's plaster. The plaster got kind of all over everything here, and that's got to get kind of scrubbed with a brush and cleaned up like that. That's not cool. We're going to kind of break that away and try again and clean it all up and get it tidy. But yeah, that's that's what I'm working on next. I feel like I said that last time, but seriously now, that's what I'm working on next. Anyway, take care. Hope to see everybody soon. And I'll see you in the next one.